Hello everyone, I'm Fei. Some time ago there was a new car that was just launched on the market. I saw many car bloggers bought it, and everyone praised it very well. Some even said it was the last hope of the box brand. I actually didn't plan to buy this car, but seeing that everyone said it was good, I thought I might as well buy one and give it a try. Ding ding, it's this Nissan N7. At the beginning of the video, let me make one thing clear to everyone. I have never met the Nissan manufacturer from the beginning to the end, including the big sofa they gave to almost every car blogger some time ago, which I definitely won't receive. This car is purely purchased at my own expense without any commercial cooperation, so please feel free to watch it. In fact, this is the second Nissan I have bought. The first one was the 3-bar Kijin. I don't know if anyone still remembers that video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up because I bought it just for fun. And for this car, I bought the top-of-the-line N7, which is the max version with a suggested retail price of £149,900. I also chose a sports package for 1,500 yuan. The insurance for this car is over 5,000 yuan. So the final price is probably around 152,000 to 153,000 yuan. Actually, when I was choosing the exterior color of this car, I was struggling between the dark blue and the light pink. In the end, considering my own usage scenario, I wanted to use this car in a fish pond. Because everyone has seen the very old Sonata in the fish pond, I wanted to replace that car, so I finally chose the dark blue one. I think it will look more durable. As you can see, I put a very black sun film on this car because the weather is so hot now. This can slightly insulate the heat and block the sun, making public life a little more comfortable. You see, my 1,500 yuan sports package was spent on this, the petal-shaped wheels and the red hood. Honestly, this is really the cheapest sports package I have ever bought. What I like most is that the rear end has a similar fastback design, which looks a bit like a coupe, so I think buying this car for 150,000 yuan seems quite worth it after thinking about it. Because at least it doesn't look cheap, it has a relatively high quality, and it doesn't look like an online taxi, right? I forgot to mention that the Nissan logo on the front is now flat, and the inside is bright. This kind of design is quite technological, isn't it? I really think this design is quite nice. There is another point I want to tell you about. I do use this trunk very often. And one day I found that the top part of the trunk looked like it had no decoration. I said, isn't this a bit too cost-effective? Just add a cover on it, which shouldn't cost much. What do you think of the appearance of this N7? Please give it a score of 1 to 5 in the barrage. Just looking at the appearance, would you choose Xiaopeng's Mona MO3 or Nissan's N7 at this price? You can also discuss with me in the barrage or comment area. I suddenly thought of something. If these videos get more than 50,000 likes, then I will buy an Xiaopeng Mona MO3 and make a comparison video with this car for everyone to see. I hadn't seen the actual car when I bought it, so I couldn't directly experience the materials and texture of its interior. But when I picked it up, I realized how much Japanese cars have changed. Almost every touchable part is upholstered, and the leather on the seats has a very delicate texture. Furthermore, the roof is made of suede. Let's not even talk about the past. Just 2 or 3 years ago, if you bought a Japanese car over 300,000 yuan, they wouldn't have such features. Now you can get them for just over 100,000 yuan. Do you think the joint venture brands are reacting a little too late? What do you think? And then there was this seat that everyone praised so much. Actually, I had very high expectations for it. I even wondered if it would be as comfortable as a large, high-quality sofa. But after sitting on it, it was comfortable, but not as comfortable as I expected. After all, it's just a seat in a car, not a sofa in your home. So it definitely doesn't give you the same comfortable feeling as a sofa. However, I do have to say that this seat is, in my opinion, one of the most comfortable seats I've driven in cars under 300,000 yuan. And what's so comfortable about it? It's not an AI-powered seat. It adjusts the seat height, shoulder, and neck positioning, and so on based on your body shape and the clothes you're wearing. So I feel like it fits my body perfectly fitting my curves. But I don't think this fit is something I can immediately feel once I get in the car and it adjusts my posture. Rather, I foresee it beforehand. I know this sofa is different from others, and I have to feel it very carefully to appreciate its fit. So I think it's important to approach this seat with reasonable expectations, not too high. Often high expectations lead to disappointment. A relatively good feature for a car in this price range is that it comes with a refrigerator, but the door only opens and closes on the main frame. I think it would be nice if the auxiliary frame had a button as well. Wouldn't it be more convenient to be able to open and close the trunk? This feature is only available on the top-of-the-line model. The car's computer uses an 8295 chip. Its response speed and other aspects are definitely flawless, including the entire UI design. It's actually very similar to many new brands. You see, the homepage can also control the trunk opening and closing. However, I think the hierarchical logic of the car's computer is a bit complicated. For example, the vehicle settings are divided into system settings and vehicle controls. I think it would be better to integrate them into one setting. Otherwise, if I need to use a certain function, I might need to know whether it's the system settings or the vehicle settings, which I think is quite troublesome. As for the car's voice assistant, I've found it's not up to par. It has a lot of preset voice commands, such as air conditioning, seat ventilation, heating, windows, music, and volume. It can all be adjusted. The response speed is quite good, and the recognition accuracy is also quite good. However, some things are not preset. It can't be controlled, for example, to adjust the rearview mirror. Hello Nissan, what's the matter? Adjust the rearview mirror. Why do I mention this separately? Because this car does not have physical adjustment buttons for the rearview mirror. If you need to adjust the rearview mirror, you need to enter this interface, then enter the vehicle control in the common settings, or set it directly in the shortcut bar to control it. So I think this is a bit redundant. You might as well say that it can be controlled directly by the voice assistant, or give me a physical adjustment button for the rearview mirror, right? I think that box brands really don't need to learn some unnecessary functions and configurations from new brands. Some good configurations can be retained by themselves. Then there is one point I want to complain about. It is the storage space on the door panel. As you can see with the naked eye, it is relatively narrow and quite small. If you want to put water in, you need to find an angle to put it in. You don't need to stand normally or throw it in. You need to put it in from here diagonally. Let's take a look at the space performance in the back row. I think it can still be given a good review. In the front is Dong Limao, who's 1.8 meters tall and weighs 170 pounds. Yes, he's lost weight. If I were to sit in the back, you can take a look with your naked eyes for reference. Dong Limao was also sitting in the back. He has about 2 fists and 2 fingers of legroom, and about 1 fist and 1 finger of headroom. So I think 3 grown men can squeeze in there without much of a problem. There's actually a clever design in the back. Did you notice that the backrests of the front seats have a hollowed out area, which further increases legroom? But I think the best thing is that the seat cushions aren't made too low just for thigh room. While maintaining a certain height, you can see that they've grown out a bit, and the cushions are really soft and fresh. Do you know what fresh means? It's like a freshly steamed bun. But the back seat, at this price point, I think it's understandable that there aren't any unnecessary features or functions. There's just a small air conditioner and no Type-C port. I've had this N7 for over a month. I've seen a lot of positive reviews online about its design, and personally I think there aren't any major issues with it overall. However, there are a few details I think could be improved. First of all, this point can't be improved. Although this car is a pure electric model, it has a front-wheel drive layout. As we all know, most pure electric models are rear-wheel drive. So I'd like to ask everyone if you would be willing to buy a front-wheel drive pure electric car. As for the power, I've looked at it myself. It's mostly used for city commuting. Although compared to most pure electric models on the market that can easily reach 0-60 in 3 or 4 seconds, it doesn't have any major highlights. However, with 272 horsepower and a 0-100 acceleration time of 6.9 seconds, I think it's more than enough for daily commuting. Another point is the throttle stickiness of this car. I've found that this problem also exists. Let's demonstrate it to you. For example, if I step on the electric pedal and then release it, you'll find that the speed doesn't drop as you release it, but instead stays constant for about 1 or 2 seconds. Sometimes, its speed will increase by another kph or 2. Actually, you know, when I take my foot off the accelerator, I expect the car to slow down, but it doesn't. So when I first started driving this car, I wasn't used to it and always had the urge to slam on the brakes. So I think this could be tweaked. At higher speeds on elevated roads or highways, I sometimes need to brake and sometimes I slam on the brakes. Why? Because the initial braking is very soft. Even at higher speeds over 80, I feel like the first fifth of the braking is almost non-existent. So I don't know if it's because the accelerator is so linear. To match the accelerator, the initial braking is also so soft. Anyway, I personally like it. I've been crashing. I keep asking how you all saw it just now when I went over a series of speed bumps. That's because this car, when you're driving a little faster, just like we're driving normally on city roads, probably at a speed of less than 60, if you encounter continuous potholes or relatively large potholes that are visible to the naked eye, you can feel that the entire shock absorber spring of this car seems to be relatively short, and it will be compressed to its limit very quickly. At this time, I think the filtering of this kind of bumps is still quite limited. Therefore, many of those small vibrations can still be transmitted to the interior of the car, especially the entire rear axle. I think the filtering of this kind of continuous bumps is still quite limited, but there is one thing to say. I often drive this car to go shopping and go to the basement. When you are driving slowly, you have experienced some continuous deceleration.